Item number 1, under new business, 2022B, budget revision number 10. Ms. Standridge.
Good afternoon, council.
Good afternoon.
2022B budget revision number 10 is requesting to move $75,000 out of the Clements Road Mercedes tank improvement line and into the water service line replacement project. This is the project that was briefed to the committee during projects committee by Mr. Gurney that was replacement of the lines due to lead and copper piping. The Clements Road project within the 2022B is a project that was identified a couple of months ago as possibly not needing the amount of budget that it had been assigned before due to some efficiencies in their design project and then in the design process of the project, and then also for just the changes that have been made in other areas of the system not necessarily needing to be fixed at that specific juncture. There's Gurney. Thank you. I was just looking for you. Brian is here if you want to have any questions about the specifics of that project and what it's going to change for it.
Sure. Come on up, Mr. Kearney. Sure. Welcome. This is the project you briefed us in projects just a few minutes ago?
Yes, sir.
Well, I thought you briefed us it was $51,000.
I did.
Why are we moving $75,000?
We just, in case something comes up, we wanted a little more budget. That was it. We have roughly 300,000 extra in that Mercedes tank improvement budget. So that was our thinking.
Okay.
I mean, if something does come up, we will have to amend the contract. But while we're moving money, we're at the same time we were working out the proposal as well. So, we weren't exactly sure it was going to come in at 51,000. So that was part of how we landed there as well.
Okay, gentlemen, any questions, or gentlemen and lady? Gentleman and lady, any questions or comments?
No.
You do? Go ahead.
No, I'm good.
Well, I thought you said you had a question.
No, sir, I don't have a question. Well, I have a lot of questions, but not about that.
So at the time we asked to move 75,000, we weren't sure what we were gonna come up having to pay, and it turned out to be 50 or 55.
That's right. We're kind of
All right,
concurrently
would you
working
do
on
something-
getting quotes.
Do something for this committee, let us know what it ends up being.
Oh, yeah,
All right.
we'll do.
Is there a motion?
Motion.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion is approved.
And just for clarity, the same way with the Benjamin Barnes YMCA project is that if this water service line replacement comes in under
automatically
budget, it
slides
goes back
back
into
down into
contingency for the
contingency.
bond. Yes, sir.
You'd think after a few years I'd catch on to that. Okay, Ms. Standridge, item number 2, item number 3, and item number 4 are all authorizations for issuance of GO warrants in various series. Do you want to give us an overview first of what these 3 resolutions are doing, and then we'll go down into the specifics of each one?
Yes, sir. So these are preliminary issuance resolutions for the individual bond series issuances that you'll see before you. I'm going to go in, what I will do right now is go into a detail of what A, B, and C actually are. Okay. Let's start there. 2025A is purely the Savings Center because it's a taxable issuance, it has to be done on its own. And so we're segregating the Savings Center as the A issuance. 2025, and the total amount of that, the project is $66.5 million. The total ask within this resolution is actually $69 million due to premium, due to fees, and due to legal costs that will be incurred on that one issuance. 2025B is water and sewer. That's the $75 million issuance that we've been talking about for the last few years. And is part of the water and sewer 10-year plan that is paid for by the rate increases that were adopted 5 years ago. 2025C is all of the other, for lack of a better term, Elevate projects. That includes 3 different ones. That is Odom Park, that is Bowers Park Pickleball, and that is the University Boulevard Corridor Edition. Those 3 items are $16.2 million. And also we'll have the premiums, fees, and legal filing amounts worked into those as well.
Okay. Anyone, any questions or comments? So, you and I talked, I've got a couple of clarifications, but again, you and I talked fairly extensively Thursday on our call about kind of how we see the movement of this inching towards money. And next week, we've got, Ms. Garrison, we've asked you and Barry to come in and kind of describe to us the strategy options available, not specifics, but the strategy observations for matching those maturities we talked about. And then there's a group of us going to New York in mid-June to actually sit down at the table with the rating companies. And that's what I told Ms. Standridge. I think as we move towards that June 16th, we get this refined down to knowing exactly what we want to do and are willing to authorize, so that when we sit down across the table in New York, we can read faces and hear inflections in voices, making sure that this is not upsetting or impacting negatively our credit rating. So far, sound like what we talked about. These resolutions today, and I want to be clear, these are not authorizing any bonds to be issued.
They are authorizing the available for sale. Yes, they are.
They are
not
authorizing certain actions with regard to GO warrants, and we've got some numbers plugged in, right? Some up to amounts.
Up to, yes, sir.
And then in paragraph 4 of this is what allayed my concerns about it. The issuance and sale of these warrants by the city shall be subject to, and I think you and I discussed this on the phone too, the final approval and authorization by the council, including without limitation, the purposes, we already know the purpose, the use of those proceeds, the principal amounts, the terms of maturity, the issuance dates, the interest rates, and the offering prices and redemption prices. And y'all's built in there. So it is, what we're doing today allows that ball to start rolling.
Yes, sir.
So that our bond underwriters and our bond attorneys can go, okay, this is what they plan to do. This is what I'm going to make it possible for them to do. Okay. Raven, do you have any questions? Because I know you're new to this committee.
I don't.
Okay.
I'm taking it all in.
Norman?
All we're doing is kind of setting up.
We
have to vote.
They have to have
authorize
some
language.
finite idea and assurance of what we're, what we're willing to go up to do, so that they can come back to us and say, okay, we recommend you issue this many of this and this many of that, and the rates are this, the discounts be this. Okay,
Yes.
is for item number,
It's called a parameters resolution.
okay, then that actually says in two words what I've been babbling about. All right, on item number 2, is there any more comments or questions, or is there a motion?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Item number 3, authorization for the issuance of general obligation warrants. This is the Series 2025 Bs. And this is the bonds, right? I mean,
Yep.
the water and sewer.
This is water and sewer, yes, sir.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Item number 4, authorization for the issuance of GO warrants, Series 2025C. This is kind of the medley of local Elevate type projects, Odom Park, Bowers, etc.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Item is approved. All right, item number 5, authorization to collaborate on the submission of an application to the Department of Transportation for a safe streets and roads for all grants. Welcome, Bill.
Good afternoon, thank you.
Sure.
So a lot of words up there on the screen. I'll do my best to attempt to clarify here. So this is requesting permission to participate in the Regional Commission's grant application for a Safe Streets for All planning grant to develop a regional safety action plan. There's a couple of key points at the front end. So at engineering, we typically are presenting at the projects committee. We're not at the projects committee because there is no specific project yet. This is about a plan that may identify some opportunities for us. And also not asking for any funding commitment here. There's no funds or obligation as a part of this. We will be participating with the Regional Commission. It's about a $1.5 million grant that they are requesting. This grant program is an 80-20, so there would be a 20% match, but because of the team that they're bringing together as part of the regional plan, there are nonprofit organizations that will be covering that match portion for the entire team that's participating in the grant application. So to elaborate a bit, the purpose of the safety action plan is to reduce and eliminate serious injury and fatal crashes on roads and streets. So the primary benefit for us would be a safety action plan that would identify some of those key areas where we should be focusing. Also potentially the opportunity to use that plan to highlight some projects that we've had in development that do have a safety focus that we just haven't been able to get funding dedicated to and bring them further along. And to our participation, again, no financial commitment. It's really participation from both the grant and the engineering team, regular recurring meetings to develop the plan, as well as any street and crash data that would be relevant to the elements that would be in the plan. Being a part of that plan then does open us up to access to what's called implementation grants through the same program. So that's up to $25 million to execute projects that would be in the safety action plan. The plan would be the result of this planning grant that we're asking for permission to pursue. The confirmation of that participation, it culminates in a letter from the mayor endorsing the city's participation with the team pursuing the grant. And those grant applications are due here at the end of the month by June 26th, with again the regional commission leading the grant application and submitting that application for us.
All right, you make it too easy. Any questions or comments? Not there, is there a motion?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, item is approved. Item number 6, this is the section we built into multiple finance committee meetings kind of over the late spring into earlier midsummer to give us the flexibility to now begin bringing up for votes those proposals that were in the mayor's capital projects recommendations. And I've got, let's see, pardon me for looking at my phone, but I've got the list of them here. I think the, Eric, are you in here?
Yes, sir.
So we were presented with the details of yours last week. My memory, was it 850?
I think 825, sir.
825, and that was for the improvements and security to the City Hall facility, right?
Yes, sir.
Are there any questions or comments about that from the committee members? All right.
And hey, just briefly though, that's security upgrades and was it all of our buildings?
So
Eric?
it's multiple projects we have throughout City Hall and
And some not in City Hall,
Correct.
right? We had
It's
the
a
native plant clearing over
Couple
in
of
Queen
Queen
City
City.
Park, correct. And so as part of these projects, there's all a safety and security feature to them.
Showers in Shelby Park.
We did get the flowing water fixed at Shelby Park.
What about the bathrooms and the showers?
I'm not even biting. Are there any questions? Are there any questions or comments?
Mr. Chairman, what are we voting on? Just only this, 825?
Well, this one first.
Okay, I would like to make a motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, item is approved. I think then we wanted to begin delving into in more detail two remaining items on that, among several, on that recommendation list. One was TPD's request for, Chief, I think it's $1,050,000
Yes, sir, I have a whole PowerPoint for you.
Okay, well, we're gonna get it right now. And the other one was, Mr. Tyner and Mr. Fail, will begin, depending on time, revisiting the, Veterans Memorial Park pedestrian bridge. And Bill Butler, have you, in anticipation of that, do you have the reports that we would need to make logical decisions related to that?
Yes, sir. I think we have the inspection report and some details.
Okay, so y'all have got that ready when we can get to it? Not right now. Chief, why don't you, let's do, Norman Raven, okay with you, we do the police car request first?
Absolutely.
Come on up, Chief Blankman.
Yes, sir. All right, at the request, I've put together a PowerPoint. It was about 24 slides, but you'll be happy to know I've cut it down to, I think, 6. Just to remind the council, I know we've had some switch-ups. In 2023, the mayor and the council were very gracious to start us a take-home program at the Tuscaloosa Police Department for take-home cars. The request then was it was going to take about $1.5 million a year to keep the plant operational. This year, the request is much
Through
lower.
how many years?
Sir?
Through how many years?
It was basically $1.5 million a year.
Forever?
Yes, sir. To keep operational. I'll kind of dive into that as we go.
Okay.
So basically our overview, we have 264 allotted sworn officers. We have 244 currently working with 20 vacancies. We do have 7 officers.
I'm sorry, 224?
Yes, sir. It's on the screen right there.
Okay.
We have 244 currently working. We have 20 vacancies, and we have 7 officers that are actually in training. We did include those 7 in the 244 number.
Allotted sworn, that's
sir.
the number that we
Yes.
have approved and funded for you?
Yes, sir. We have
I
264
thought we were
sworn
at
police officer positions.
270.
No, sir. We basically
We went down 15, right? We were at 292.
we did, but we've also realized that it's hard getting officers right now. We can use non-officers, and other civilian roles. So our drone pilots have come out of that, and we're making a difference and kind of being innovative on using our positions. So 264 is our allotted number that we have a pay scale for.
Okay.
When we get into vehicles, administrative and investigations, we have 97 assigned vehicles. We have 15 vehicles assigned to civilians. That's going to be our analysts have to come out in the middle of the night when we have shootings, our drone pilots, our social workers, and our garage personnel. We have 6 spare vehicles for the 97 unassigned or assigned vehicles that are unmarked. We are making no requests in 2026 for any administrative vehicles. Everything we're making requests for are going to be marked police units. In patrol, we have 147 officers totally working. We have 140 assigned vehicles. The 7 that are training will get vehicles when they come out of their phase training and can work on their own. On the next slide, we have a detailed breakdown of vehicles. So this is uniform vehicle fleet overview. 147 patrol division, 120 officers, 113 assigned vehicles, 12 motors, and 15 SROs. Everybody up there on that category, except for the 7 that are in training, have got an assigned unit. They take them home. We received many comments from the community as well as the council that they see TPD vehicles a lot more frequently than they used to. So that's a good overall feeling for the city. We do currently have 25 spare vehicles, and those are going to be marked patrol units. 15 line spares. So that means if an officer's vehicle, we have 10 spares that are being used right now. So if an officer's vehicle breaks, if they got any kind of recall issues with them, or if their vehicle's wrecked, they'll use one of those spare vehicles. We have 6 supervisor spares. Those are without cages. And then we have 4 canine spares because if a vehicle goes down, we just recently redid our canines with new trucks, so we're using those spares. If those trucks go down or they get in an accident or any maintenance, we have to have somewhere to put the dog. If we don't have something that's equipped with air conditioning and cages for the dog, at that point that dog is useless to us until we get up and running. So we like to keep our spares for that. We've got 14 of those vehicles that are out of service. 6 of them have been wrecked and need replacement, and then 8 are at logistics and they're unreliable and they need to go to auction. Those vehicles are no longer safe for officers to drive. And like I said, we have 10 spares that are currently used due to wrecks, recalls, and maintenance. Our current fleet condition concerns, and this is why we've got to keep investing in this program. Of course, we got the 6 vehicles permanently disabled, 8 of them are unreliable. We have 31 vehicles that officers are currently driving with over 100,000 miles. And that's why you have to invest year after year after year. These officers are on the road for 10 hours a day, every day, except for their off days. We have 2 vehicles over 200,000 miles. Those are going to be some of the ones that they need to go. So with 31 vehicles over 100,000 miles, if you wait 2 years from now to invest, those vehicles are 150, 160, 170,000 miles. These are not normal miles that are put on an everyday civilian vehicle. When somebody's breaking into a house, when somebody has shot somebody, they are running code. They are running hard on these vehicles, and those vehicles are made to be run like that. But 150,000 miles on one of these cars, it needs to go. Once you get to that 100,000 mark, you need to start looking at replacing. So we've got 31 that are already there. This is our vehicle request for this year. 17 new patrol vehicles, 7 for the new hires that we said will come out of training, because until we get those vehicles, those will have to come out of our spares. And then 10 vehicles to replace aging units. And those are going to be the ones that are over the 2 over 200,000 and then going away at the 31 that are over 100,000. The Dodge Durango is our best bet right now. Tahoes have gotten too expensive. Unfortunately, they don't make the Chargers anymore. I have heard that they may be coming back with a gas-powered Charger or Charger-ish type vehicle that we may be able to look at in the future. Total cost for a Dodge Durango is $63,109. That's fully equipped. A total cost for 7 is $1,072,000, and we're requesting $1,080,000. That is on last year's numbers. Until the new state bids come out, we will not know exactly what that number is. That's why we've left a little bit from the cost of what we've requested. And then, of course, if they were to shoot up $5,000 or $6,000 a vehicle, we would have to just eat one of those 17. And we've had to do that in years past. So you just don't know where it's going to go until it comes out. 17 vehicles is the minimum needed to sustain operational readiness. This request is not about expansion, it's about preservation. Y'all were gracious to have this program for us, but you have to invest into it year after year after year. We recognize the $1.5 million is not an option this year, so this is what we've looked at. We've had a lot of people look at these numbers, and this is what we need to keep the program alive and to keep officers safe and maintain the city's public safety needs. And I'll take any questions you have.
Sure.
Chief, what was the request amount?
It's $1,080,000. And that should get us 17. If the market goes different and we can do 16, we'll just have to work with those numbers. Just because I wish they'd put out the prices earlier, but they don't, unfortunately.
Chief, I know your officers like the Chargers. How do you think they'll feel about the Durango?
They like the Durangos so far. They've held up really good. We went ahead and put most of our supervisors in Durangos to test them out. Like I said, they're not as roomy as the Tahoes, but price-wise, the Tahoes are getting too expensive. They're marking themselves out of the police market because of that. But they're very happy. Officer morale, I don't think I can't put a price on it. Y'all may be able to. But they're in a workspace 10 hours every single day, and they appreciate it. That's their office, and they take great pride in it. You'll see the officers washing, waxing, vacuuming their cars out, and they're inspected weekly by supervisors.
And you answered my question, but you're seeing that they're taking better care of these.
Yes, sir, absolutely.
Which other than mileage makes them last longer.
Yeah, I can tell you from experience, when we didn't have take-home cars when I started, and you got a line car for the day, it was your car for the day. So you got in there, you did what you had to do, you parked it, and that's it. When you're in that vehicle for 10 hours a day or 8 hours a day, it's your vehicle. You take pride in it, and if somebody doesn't take care of their vehicle, it's addressed very quickly.
So, Chief, thank you. What I had anticipated for today was similar to what we did for the city hall improvements and security. Let's use today to get everything out on the table, and then for us to go back and kind of socialize that and come up with any additional questions. But can you go back to the first slide for me for just a second?
Yes, sir. Absolutely. That one?
Yeah. So how many employees do you have in TPD?
I don't have the total number of civilian employees. I can get to you by the end of the day, but I don't have it memorized.
Okay, let's.
Because I've got dispatchers,
But
I've got all kinds of.
shifting the uniform then, it's, your belief is that 264 is what we have allotted and agreed to fund?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I need to get the bottom end. I thought we were at 270. I know that the 6 drone operator, intel analyst are not sworn officers. I didn't know that we had reduced.
I actually gave up some positions to fund the drone program itself because we're struggling to get police officers, so we got to do less with more. Our officers are out there working extremely hard, but we have to help them where we can. And I felt like having unemptied positions sitting here versus doing something with that money to help those officers on the street was well worth it.
We're in violent agreement on that point.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Mr. Crowe, you had a
I
question?
just said, I remember, I can't remember the number of positions, but we gave up some positions to
Mhm.
hire several of the drone operations
Yes, sir, we
people
did.
that you were
Yes,
talking
sir.
about.
So those
That's probably
six
part-
were
that's part of the
uniform
difference.
give up?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Part of it.
Yeah, so we didn't have to bring additional money into TPD and take away from the general fund budget.
Okay, so 244 currently working, and does that include those that will, when you briefed us a week or, no, it was maybe a month ago, we had 230, we had 14 that were on kind of normals, leave stuff.
Yeah, that 244 includes that. That's FMLA injuries. I think we got 2 or 3 out that are injured. We got a couple that had babies.
Right,
So that includes
and that's stuff that it's always
yes, sir,
a part
it's
of the
always
plan.
evolving. Yes, sir.
But, so essentially, factoring that in, we're running about 230 on the streets.
Right now, probably about 230 on the streets.
Okay.
I'd say that's fair. And then those 7, we'll go through a 4-month training process. Hopefully, all 7 will make it. Typically, if we start 7, we'll see where 4 to 5 will get through. We'll lose 1 or 2. This is a very strong class that graduated, so we got high hopes for them.
Okay. And the total number of vehicles that y'all got is, what am I doing there? Am I adding?
You have to add the 97.
I'm adding 97
Yes, sir.
to 15 to 6 to what?
And that doesn't include one-off vehicles. Like we have pickup trucks that just tow barricades for game days. We got, but our actual
We're talking about
videos are-
conduct of operations.
Yes, those are right. Yes, sir.
So what do we add up to find the total number?
You can add up the 97 plus the.
Is it on the next slide?
Yeah, it's gonna be on the next slide. So you can take 197, and that's uniformed, and then
179.
or 179. I'm sorry, and then you can add that to the 97, and that should give you your total number.
That's a question, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, go ahead.
Chief, if approved, how long will it take to get these vehicles?
We'd order them October 1. We're probably looking at next summer, hopefully, before we get them. The shop does an amazing job. Jason Foster's guys do an amazing job wiring them up for us. They're getting, when we have all the equipment, they're getting 1 vehicle out every week and a half. So that's faster than what we did before. So if they're sitting on the lots, we can go and grab some of them. But if they're going to be made at the factory, you're looking until March, April. A couple of them will start rolling in. So it'll be a year for their production.
The mileage numbers you were talking about, are they exact right now, or are we talking about an estimate of where they would be before they could be replaced?
No, that's the exact number.
Exactly,
Over 100,000
so it's
right now.
gonna be a lot worse.
Yes, sir. We'll probably hit, a lot of those will be hitting 130 next year. But like I said, we
You'll
wanted
have a
to
bunch over 200,000.
take your request seriously. And so we believe that's the number that we need to keep everything going.
So 276 is the total number of vehicles, of operational vehicles.
Yes, sir.
That's the
That's what-
97.
yes, sir, with the
plus
spares
the
and everything.
179, 276.
And then some of those will go away with new vehicles coming in. Of course, we'll auction some off and get rid of those that are no longer fit to drive.
Okay, and again, like you mentioned, that does not count if you've got a pickup truck at the range
No,
or something.
sir.
Okay.
No, sir. That didn't count that number.
Okay, any other questions or comments on this?
Would you like to see this again in public safety?
In public safety,
Not today.
no,
Okay.
actually, this is,
Okay. I'm
you
good.
know,
I don't have any
I want
questions.
public safety a quarterly accounting of the personnel, but no, this
Yes, sir.
gives me a pretty good idea of what's going on.
Are you calling for a vote, Mr. Chairman?
No, I'm not. I'd like us to have some time to absorb it and do like we did with the others. We'll get things out on the table today, hear about them, and then bring it back. If we have any follow-up questions, we'll ask those, and if not, we'll bring it up for a vote.
Come back next week?
And that, Chief, that's what, thank you, and that's
If
what
anybody
I,
has any follow-up questions in the meantime, please reach out to me.
okay. Now, we got 2 committees, and we've got, Bill Butler, I think I'm gonna hold off on hearing the Memorial Bridge, pedestrian bridge stuff today. and try to turn it over to the other two. Is there a motion to adjourn Finance Committee for today?
Second.
All in favor?